link so I can tweet it out to people.
Okay, and we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Trying to find Yep.
Hi, technical difficulties. Sorry, sorry for that. We still have to figure out what we will use for streaming. So Jitsi didn't work, and now we're trying with OBS. So hopefully this will work. Yeah, here we are. A little bit late, but here we are.
Yes. Everything's a bit of a schmozzle at the moment. Trying to figure. Ah! My bad. It looks like it's linked up with the old chats. I think that's what's confusing for a second.
Okay. So let's just call this a big test run. Hopefully it will get better in the future. So sorry for that. We're still trying to figure that out ourselves. So yeah, not very professional right now. Sorry, but we're working it out.
It's also a bit of a worry when you get a surprise dash shucking 2 seconds into a stream.
Is anybody in the chat right now, or are we all alone?
Yeah. I just retweeted out the link, so we'll see. Because I said if you like it, and so forth before, but then I kind of said, well, we got kicked out, so hopefully they'll pick up the back. But you've been working on any projects lately, Paul? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes all you have to do is nothing. Sometimes the body just needs to calm down, relax, and yeah, that's sometimes the best you can do.
Hey, Pokemon.
Hi! How are you?
I was kind of doing mostly nothing. Yeah, I haven't got any echo from you guys at the moment.
It might be different from Skype and what YouTube sees. I changed some set.
Does somebody...
echo?
Okay, we're echoing like heck. Yeah, sorry for that. Somebody got YouTube running right now?
Yes.
Paul, try muting your microphone in Streamlabs.
It is already muted.
Oh, okay. Because there was something they muted in Streamlabs but left it running on Skype, and that controlled everything or something. I can't remember what it was though.
Okay. I can talk. Am I echoing as well?
Nope, no echoes.
Okay, perfect.
That might be good.
Hopefully. Yeah. We have to figure that out. Yeah. Let's test run. So.
I should be there now. It's better. Is there still echo now, Pokon? I don't think so.
The latest thing he wrote was no echoes.
Yeah, but
So I
I
think we're
I
good now.
changed
I hope
another
so.
setting after that. So
Okay. Are we still echoing? Or are we echoing again? No echoes anymore.
that's
Perfect.
Success.
Thank you.
Hi, Uday.
it's
Yes, we used to do this through Jitsi, but thanks to the getting ousted from the stream, we switched, and it's a bit of a learning curve. So, but eventually, hopefully, it should be a better system because this one is capable of picture switching on based on who's talking and so forth. So we just got to figure out what does what, and then future streams will be back to
it's all a
hiccups
bit
again.
different, and
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something we need to change because Jitsi is kicking us out all the time. Random issues, stuff like that, and that's
and
not fun
not
streaming at all.
stable at
So,
all. That's,
yeah. Yes, exactly. Well, it says that it's still in the
that's
beta, so maybe they can get figured it out someday. But right now, it's just not usable like that. Unfortunately,
that's
started so
and
great.
yeah, the auto switching is not
Yes.
working for me. So if I'm talking, it won't switch at all. So it's just switching now for Jared and Mia. So, so you need to do with me for a bit smaller, unfortunately.
Ah,
That's,
Maybe there's an option where all three of us can be shown in one window, or is that
I think there is
too much?
some way you can arrange that as
that's
well. Um, I'll have to see if I can find the bookmark later when I was looking
yeah.
into it. But a, there was a very thorough link that went
I
through
think what might work is
different modes.
actually having a separate laptop or desktop for the streaming and one for where you use Skype to call
Mhm.
in. So split it up and yeah,
That would make sense.
but yeah, that's not going to work out and setting up right now during the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
Well,
bother people for today, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Most of
so
the people.
welcome all to our test lab here.
Yes. Thank you for giving us a chance to test it.
Yes. So if you have any questions or want us something to try or got another alternative for us, we will welcome that.
that's
Yeah.
I would indeed. I went searching for probably 4 or 5 hours over the past week or something, looking to find which is the best plan. Like, uh, yeah,
it's
can't.
it's
I
just
can't.
really hard to find a proper replacement for Google Hangouts. Basically, that was working so well without
Exactly.
you needed to do anything, and the solutions that are there as replacement just don't work really.
Yeah, unfortunately. At least not like that. We are all so used to Hangouts, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
everything that's new or different, we have to figure out. So,
but if you can get this working, then if this is actually something that works, then it's just with a few tweaks and it will work perfectly. I think that's it's just
it's
it's just
just,
a bit harder to set up, and yeah, not everyone will be able to stream like before. And that's a bit unfortunately.
yeah, that's that's a shame.
Yeah,
With Jitsi, it was so easy because basically everybody could
yeah, and
host.
that's
It didn't matter who started. It doesn't matter who stops. This was just so
yep.
great
Ah,
that unfortunately all the bugs are making making it not so fun experience.
Most learning experiences are a bit rough on the system,
Oh
rough around the
yeah,
edges. But once we're comfortable with it, we'll be back to normal, and
Yes.
everyone will be back on board with us, and we're the guinea pigs. We suffer so you don't have to.
I didn't really work with OBS before. All I did was just using it for some screen capturing. But that's all. I never did a live stream with OBS.
OBS itself
But
isn't that hard. It's yeah, you just need to figure out what options you need to use basically. It's,
Yeah, I can't really get OBS to work with my webcam. Like, for some reason, the only way I can get it to show up is at like 4098 by
oh yeah,
3600 res or some stupid crap, when like my monitor's actual size is like 3840 by
yeah.
2160.
I've that problem with
But yeah, for some reason the cam feed just doesn't show up at anything but the maximum. And I'm like,
I have the
why?
same problem with one of my laptops or webcams, and I have no idea why. And sometimes the unit I use for getting the video from my camera also is not recognized, and then the other time it just works out of the box. It's really weird. That's
Mm. No other programs I've had have that issue. Just in OBS, when I try any other resolution, like if I try, like the program starts somehow with the camera set on a particular resolution the very first time that it gets installed, it'll
yeah.
work. But if I try to change it, nothing will work except the 4096 spot.
It's
yeah,
yeah,
It's weird, really weird.
doesn't really make any sense.
No, not at all.
and
And it wouldn't be so bad if it was the same ratio as all the other resolutions, because you could just shrink it
yeah,
down to fit.
that
But
Yeah.
they
it's
do all
like
kind of different.
16 by 10 or something rather than
Uh,
16 by 9, which all of the other resolutions are. So you just get squashed. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Oh well. We have to deal with the technique.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Trying again with the technical devices we have somehow.
it is sort of working now, and that is good enough for today, I guess. It's
Yes,
that.
that's something.
Yeah, we definitely got further than we've been on some weeks, that's for sure.
Well, at least we're still all here and nobody get kicked
Yeah,
out. So
Yeah,
that's a
that's what I was
plus, I
about to
would
say.
say.
No one's dropped out yet or been kicked out, so we're off to a decent start. That was the most annoying thing about Jitsi, is just the dropouts of people.
yeah.
Yeah, Paul did see it coming somehow. He already knew, oh, we're getting kicked out in 10, 9, and suddenly we were gone.
I think it was because of Google where it said that the connection was bad or something like that.
Mm.
And you were
Yeah.
right every time.
Uh,
Is anyone still in the chat here? Are you able to let us know what picture's like for you and such today? Anybody having problems or anything? Feel free to let us know.
Are we visible? Can you hear us well? Yeah.
oh,
Saying
hey,
it didn't.
Who ate all
oh,
the
there
candy
is
out of
candy
the
in this
mystery
box.
box?
Oh, then I should open it.
Oh,
Then
candy. Yes, you should. I still have to do my
let's.
unboxing from July, so I will do
Oh
a
yeah,
double one, I
let's see
think.
what's in there for candy.
Yes,
Actually,
open it up.
I have candy too.
Oh, I
Oh my
hope there's
god.
more as candy in there.
Vanilla
So
Maltesers.
you guys here. I
I
want
don't
candy.
I don't remember where I got them. I was digging looking for something in the cupboard the other day. And I'm like, vanilla Maltesers? Like, did I just buy these recently and not become aware of it, or have they been sitting there for like 2 years? And I can't find like a use by date or any kind of indication as to whether that when they were made. And I'm like,
Uh, well,
oh
to
well.
be honest, Paco, if I see this, then I think this actually is better as candy. But
Nice.
s-
Oh, that's
yes,
perfect. I was looking for
that,
one like that, and I was thinking about
yeah.
buying one. Now
Well,
I don't
those
have
are
to.
really
What is
nice.
it?
I don't can't remember the English name, but
Are
tweezers,
they
yeah.
Yes,
tweezers?
And
tweezers. Yeah,
for
yeah.
really nice small electronic components, it's really nice and really nice quality.
Nice. Yeah,
Oh,
I've got one pair that have like an angled tip like that, and then one that have a straight tip, and then I've got like
Yeah.
pinpoint ones, um, which are extremely hard to use unless you've got really
Ah,
tiny things to pick up.
yeah. Sorry, I'm not switching from when I'm talking because of these Skype calls. So you need to be. I can make myself a bit bigger for a moment.
yeah, we have to figure out how to make this work so
Yeah,
everybody can be seen and the switching go to everyone, or if we could do it maybe like that, that everyone is seen in the
that's
screen at once or something like that.
so.
There is definitely a
Yeah,
way to do the latter.
so it
Auto
are the small
switching,
tweezers, Palco. So really nice. Yeah, when soldering small components.
wrong camera.
No, yeah, for not for uh, YouTube. It's the wrong camera for you guys.
I can see it from the side. That's okay.
Here, I want to
Yeah.
show you.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
YouTube sees a different camera as you guys. So it's a bit.
As long as you know which camera you are using to show things, everything's fine. Oh, perfect.
Hogan said, I found them. Those are
Yeah, they
ESD
are ESD
tweezers.
tweezers, and it's because of the coating that's on there. I think it's yes.
Ah, I had a
Great,
similar
really
pair, but
great.
they're a bit larger. But I
I
tend to
needed
use the straight
those
ones.
That's
so desperately, and that's really perfect. It's just like it was with the pliers that were in there. My old ones, I still got them. These, I don't know, can you see them? Are all
oh
coated up
yeah.
with duct tape.
That's
And I needed new ones, and they were in the mystery box. So perfect.
Yeah,
Only perfect timing with the mystery
yeah.
box. I love that box so much.
I remember when you unboxed that, and like I saw your old tweezers or something at the time, and I was like, "Bam! Just what you need."
It was so perfect.
There's the candy.
It's so great.
Oh,
Just get
what filaments
unexpected.
are in there?
So let's see what kind of filament we have. This one. Um, the first filament is some marble, like from A molen. I'm not sure how to pronounce. It's a marble filament, PLA based.
Vanilla bean yogurt filament. It's vanilla bean yogurt filament. There is no marble.
The second filament is some Steady Tech Premium ABS Pro gold filament. That's really nice
Ooh,
gold, actually.
nice. Oh,
Yes,
that's a
it's
really
really
dark
dark,
one.
and but there's a really nice. It's nice. It's a
Sweet.
bit shiny, but not too much. I really liked it. That's,
Awesome.
and then
I
This is a really nice color of red. It's a rep rubber, Pela fluorescent red, and yeah,
It's red. It looks
yeah,
like
it's more
orange to
like
me.
red towards pink, so it's a bit pinkish, but it's definitely red. That's
Okay.
really nice.
Maybe it's just the light. So you usually see it on camera a
Yeah,
bit different than in real life.
and the last one is some Filamentum Flexfill 98 Sky Blue. So some nice flexible filament. That's
Nice. Blue flexible.
yes,
They're great.
and 98, so it's not that flexible. So a lot of printers should still be able to use it. That's
Yeah. I'm always a little bit careful with the MMU because I'm not sure how the
oh
flexibles will go through the
yeah,
GFE tubes. It's not a bound, so there's no pressure in there, but still, it has to go through all the tubes and through so many instances to go
yeah.
through. Yeah,
So and yeah, it is a bit flexible, but not that flexible. Okay. And then we
nice.
have some
By the way, I really love the new ways the filament is done, not the tiny cardboards. We had in the beginning those cardboards which uh, partly ruined the filaments because it was too narrow. But now he has the bigger one and made an special adapter. I think it's a master
yeah,
spool size now. So this is
yeah,
really,
and
really great.
it's
Nice.
really nicely packaged. It's a
Yes, it
really
is.
quality
It's so
packaged,
great.
and it's just great.
Yes, Scarlett
Yes,
does a great job
absolutely.
with those.
I think
So
Everyone
awesome.
says you can bend
yeah, the
the
puzzle
puzzle
pieces
pieces.
are examples of all printed filaments. So you get them,
Yes.
and
He, I think he made an
Oh, so they are pieces printed in the samples
yes,
that you
so
receive
these
in the
are
box.
printed as
Oh, that's
examples
nice.
already. So before you, just so you can see directly how it's printed and things like that. So that's really nice. Yes,
it's so
Cool.
awesome.
and of course you get some
Very,
Haribos.
very.
So yay!
Yes.
I think yeah, this is part of the project because I think we actually discussed this project a few streams ago. Is that right, Mia? That's
Yes, we did. I think we made this project happen because we talked in the
yes,
stream about
yes.
something like that.
And it's a solar powered Wi-Fi weather station. So it's yeah, a nicely packaged, and there's a nice PCB in there. And let me see if I can get it out.
Project needs some different
Yes.
pieces.
Yes, there were some pieces that were missing, and
Yeah,
one was
I think the
uh, wrong, and he already sent them out, so they will
I
arrive
think the
pretty
charger
soon.
was the wrong one, if I remember correctly, and there was one resistor missing.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
resistor was
So
missing
this is the
exactly.
PCB itself. So yeah, really nice quality, and that's and
Thank you.
it's
Awesome. I'm so looking
yes.
forward to that.
Wow. That's
I hope I don't mess it up by my
Oh no,
poor
this is
soldering.
really
So
easy to solder. It's you should have no
you guys get
you
all
should have
fun
no problem
toys.
at all with soldering this. That's
I hope so. I just did my second solder job on
uh,
the cuckoo clock, so yeah, I'm not very experienced
and
in
yeah, you
that.
can also get a small uh, solar panel to charge it, and some
Nice.
Excellent.
I'm so
uh,
looking forward
That
to
would be
that.
something fun to
a
just play
Wi-Fi
around with
antenna.
Yes.
many different
Oh
projects,
yeah,
I think.
yes. That's, so it's a really nice project this time. This is just really great.
Hmm.
That's really looking forward to building this.
Like when you think about
Me
like
too.
what you can do with
Yeah,
something like an
yeah.
ESP.
There's also ESP included. So So yes, so it's
Wow. Like, you think about that, and then the potential to
yeah,
combine that with solar power
that's
to keep it running. Oh my God. So many cool things you
and
could do.
this one, this ESP is actually one where you can uh, put on an external antenna for the wireless. So it's a VMOS Pro, I think. VMOS
Vimos,
D1 Mini Pro.
Nice.
So it's a really nice one that's included itself, and then you get the Wi-Fi antenna with it. So that can you use for it.
I wonder how powerful the solar cell is. Like, whether it'd be able to
I
run something like
I
our clock. Like, if it'd have enough power to just get onto Wi-Fi, get the time, get off, and then just keep itself running with the daylight in the room. That would be so cool.
yeah. I don't. I think it's 1 watt or something like that. So it's not a really powerful.
Might be enough to kind of just
Yeah,
generally keep it
and well,
alive.
this one is
Um,
working with a battery. So you put a battery in there. So and that's charged
oh,
via solar. So if you have something just one every hour, then you don't need a lot of power, and then you can just use the battery and then charge it the rest of the hour. That's
very, very cool.
that's
I'm so
nice.
jealous. Get sent all
yes.
these goodies.
And
Those boxes are so
yeah,
well thought of. He really takes
yes.
care of that. I can so strongly recommend to
I-
get those boxes. They
yeah,
are
if you
fun. They are great. The filaments you put in there are awesome.
and
So
and even
just get the
for
There's
box.
the projects, it's already more than worth it because this is stuff otherwise I would never get.
Yes,
But I love to play with it around, and it's just great. That's
definitely.
so yeah. I think I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. That's oh
yeah, a lot of that stuff kind of never really crossed my mind much in the past kind of year or so. But then ever since I put forth the idea of making this cuckoo clock with Mia, like every time I see something, I think, oh, I
oh
could do that.
yeah.
I could do that. And like, just everything comes into mind. I'm like, I could put that to use with that. I could, hook that up to the internet and, drive me crazy.
Yeah, but once you get
Oh yeah.
started, you can't
And
stop.
Oh, I
I
do.
found something more in the package. It's our to clean your nozzles. So
Well, that's one thing I
yes,
don't have.
and it are
Nice.
a whole bunch of
Oh,
them.
those are
So I
good.
think
Perfect. For different nozzle sizes, I
I'm
think.
not sure. No, they all
I
seem
don't
to
have
be the same
any
size.
nozzles. Oh,
So it's for
Yes,
zero
I think
point
so.
0.4, I
Yes,
guess.
that's in a nice yeah cocon, so you won't lose them. I always lose those. That's
Yeah, I only have one currently, and this one looks pretty bad.
that's
Wait a second. Um, and I always put it in a tiny bag so I don't lose it
oh
because I
yeah.
need it. And this is really my only one I have. It came with a Prusa, and I never considered
Yeah.
to get a new one as long as it still works. So no, I don't have to think about that as well. Thank you, Scala. He takes so good care of me and my needs, and he doesn't even know about it.
well, Derek's just asked Sculptor to jump in.
Oh, perfect. That would be great.
I just had 3D Monkey NL show up in the Twitter thing asking, oh, he said, well done. Oh, I thought it said we done the first time I looked. I'm like, no, we're still going.
And the PCB is really nice as well. That's
The PCB look really
Yes.
swish, eh? It's
Yeah,
quite a
it
big one
is.
too.
But
Like them, like
you need.
I'd love to have a look at the schematics and what's
Yeah.
possible to do with that. Or is that just like a broader laid out
Yeah, it's
ESP32
for
or something?
it's the VMOS will be mounted on there, and I think the other sensors as well. So the
Ah,
sensors are mounted on the PCB
right.
itself with a few jumpers or headers. Yes.
That'd be pretty cool because like the ones for the actual ESP ones, you usually have to mount on like a
Y-
connected board or
Yeah.
something because there's obviously not enough space on those little things. So that'd be cool. Kind of like an all-in-one sensor testing unit or something.
Yes. And and I think you can add multiple sensors. I, if I understand this.
I would think so as well. Yes, and because you need those for the
Yeah.
whole project. You need the sensor for a moisture, I think, for the temperature, for um, yeah. There was another one, but I don't remember.
I
Was a leaflet in the
no,
box this
there's no
time?
leaflet in the box.
Okay, so he got it online.
There's here one sensor included. The BME 280. I think that's a temperature and humidity sensor.
Well, could be both in one, yeah.
And I think this one is also a sensor.
Yes, it is.
That's
Mm, that's fancy.
But I don't
no.
know which one. I will have a
Looks a bit
look
like
if I
gas
can
sensor or something.
find.
I really made a mess on my desk there.
You haven't seen the mess on my desk
True.
so far, so I
Uh,
bet you're pretty good.
I love those small microcontrollers, really.
um, sorry, Derek. What's this about online? Who's online? That's gonna be a problem for me. I have to add all the regular guys on Skype now because um, I've only got a couple of you on here. So for future streams, we'll have to
Yeah, we will figure it out.
swap contacts. But at least it works better than Jitsi. No one's been kicked out yet,
That's true.
unexpectedly.
We're still here.
But it really depends on my internet connection now as well. It's
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a Skype call with more than 4 people for about 10 minutes before on my PC. So I've got no idea how full group session would run, but only one way to find out.
I think it will be fine. It's not using that much of a network actually. It's using
Mhm.
around 7 megabyte or mbit for Skype and 6 mbit for OBS. So it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty decent.
But yeah, you
Fit
still
that.
need to have really the uploads needs to be pretty much.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of overhead. I think from memory I get 20 or 25 up. So should be doable, certainly for the smaller ones and maybe the large ones. I don't really know how Skype handles that, like whether it downgrades video
Yeah.
resolution the more people you get in there or something. Experiments for future.
And yeah, the solar panel is 1 watt, so it's not that bad.
Oh, Derek was saying the details for what's in the box are online. Right. Yes. Yes, I shall
Yeah,
have a look.
I'm looking for the leaflet, for the online leaflet right now, just for the details of the project and else, but I can't
For the
find it
project itself,
apparently.
there is a instructor boss.
Yeah, it is, but usually he has an online leaflet where all the filaments are on. He includes them usually in the box, but yeah, there are problems with letting them print and that, and so
I
he
don't think
did
he
it
published
online
it yet.
for the last boxes. Could be. Well, um,
But last month he also posted on Twitter about it, and he didn't do that either yet.
yeah, it's a little bit much
Yeah,
this
which I
month.
can understand.
It came
With
all
this project,
together.
it's really big
Then
project, so I can understand why.
exactly, exactly. Then some parts didn't come in time. Other
Yeah,
parts were delivered wrong, and there were really
yeah.
lots of problems this time. So
That's,
it's totally
and I don't
understandable.
mind really, as he just tells us that it's late and things like that. I don't mind it's a week or 2 weeks late.
Exactly.
I prefer having it late. Yeah,
It
um,
happens.
I don't care if it's a week late or 2 weeks late. It's just as long as it arrives sometimes. Then
Exactly. And we will have big fun with all
oh
the boxes,
yes,
no matter if they come in time or if they come a little bit later. So that's perfectly fine with me. You found the
yes.
sweets, I see.
I think you can post a link, Tarek, but you need to. I need to approve it. So just post it in the chat, and I will approve it.
Sorry, guys. Had to run away there for a minute. I'm back.
Hi, welcome back.
Had to go and fix myself.
Did Derek already post it?
Oh, then it doesn't get.
He says he did,
I
but I can't
yeah.
see the link. You probably can't post it, Derek, because
Normally it shows up
I
in
think
the
he,
approval window, but
Yes, and one of the admins can
I don't
approve
see it
it,
either.
and
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
I
it yet.
I also
I
can't
also
see
found the
it.
link now, so let me post it.
You should be able to paste it in there and we can unhide it, but I haven't seen anything pop up yet. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You could spanner him, give him a monkey wrench.
I don't even know how to do that.
You can't. Only the person who owns
Hello,
the YouTube
Wilco.
channel can. Oh, hi,
Thanks.
Wilco.
Sorry, I've got an itchy eyelash. How the hell that happens, I've got no idea, but
Okay.
oh. Ah. Yes, everything's a bit of a schmozzle today, Wilco, because we had to come up with a totally new system just off the cuff, but we got there. We'll continue to improve it.
Oh, here's the project. Perfect. Thank you.
So is this like a project that you're supposed to put all of those components from the box towards?
Yes.
Cool. Do they give you projects each box, or do they kind of sometimes do 3 boxes and then a project for the
Oh,
past 3 boxes?
I think there's a
Or
project every month,
No, it's
and something like the
that's
exactly.
cool.
tweezers every month included.
Cool.
We were talking about making maybe a separate box where you have a project ongoing for 3 or 4 boxes.
Hmm.
Um, but
Like a
not
loyalty box or something.
not right now. Currently, it's one project each box, so not over more than
Uh,
1 month.
and I think
That's
it
cool.
also
At
gets a
least you
bit,
know
yeah, a
with
lot of work
certainty.
to do it. Yeah, otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it
do it.
will be possible, but if you, it would only make sense if you have um, the possibility to order the older boxes as well.
Backlog
So
box. Yeah.
somebody would see the project, let's say in month 3, and say, "Oh, I would
yeah.
totally love to do that, but I can't order box 1 and 2." So, and this is something that
Oh yeah,
should be
yeah.
possible, so that you can say, if you want to do this project, you must have the possibility to order the boxes that came before that as well. Or
Does he
if you
currently
start,
just pack the boxes like when he gets an order for them, or does he kind of know I've got 30 people that have it every month, so I'll buy
yes,
40 and
exactly.
hopefully they'll all get sold.
He knows who orders. So there are the subscription people
Hmm?
who got
Yes.
the box every month, and you get the 1 month shot boxes. So basically, you can just order one box, and it doesn't get refreshed or something like that. You just get this one you're ordering, and he knows how many people ordered, and so he will pack exactly that amount of boxes.
And if you order for this month, you get this month's box basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing since there are the occasional one-off boxes, he probably, you know, say he's got 30 people that are subscribed, he probably buys 40 of everything just in case an extra 10 people go, I want this month's, please. So he might
Um,
be left with some leftovers, which he could probably put towards something like what you were saying with the
not
back.
not always, not
Well, no,
always.
not always, but he
It
might.
is it depends on the parts he needs. So
Yeah.
if it's an electronical project where you need several specific parts, he will just order the exact amount he needs,
Mm,
because otherwise he would have too many. And yeah, and there's always a deadline for the ordering of the boxes of the next month. So
mm.
basically, if you order the boxes after that, you will get the box in the
After
month
that, like the
after
month.
that.
Yep.
So
Right.
he can plan it a little bit so that he doesn't have to pay too much in advance.
Mm. Oh, that's cool. Certainly something you could probably consider for when it grows.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because obviously,
exactly. When
when it
he's
gets to a
more
certain point, you'd just be going, oh, yeah, send me 30 rolls of this, and I know I'm going to need at least 15, and maybe we'll get sales for 15, but if not, I'll use the rest of that in another box later.
exactly, that's where it is supposed to go. But right now, uh, well, we need more subscribers for
It's,
that great box. And then we will get more boxes, and he can order more parts. So basically, there might be some leftover boxes he could
yeah.
sell later on,
Mm.
and then those projects which might go over a few months will be possible then. But right
It's
now,
yeah.
um, it's
It's
too
just
much.
understandable then.
Yeah. Like, how long has he been doing that one for?
I think the beginning of this year.
Is it only this year you
Almost a
started?
year now. I got the
Oh,
first one. This was the January box
That's
this year. So yeah,
cool.
9 months now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I know that there was a couple of boxes that got started
I think
this
this one
year,
was based on the one
and then
from the United States. Um,
Yes, from the
yes.
UFO boxes from Alien Slacker.
oh yeah, there's the alien one, and then there was that maker box or maker bot box or
Yes.
something as well.
Yes, this one
There's a couple
started
that have
this
been running
year.
for
Yeah,
several
MakerBox is
years,
pretty old
is
already,
my
I think. Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, but there was this new one. The Fila. I
Yeah,
don't
from Filament
remember.
One.
There's was
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Where you get two entire spools for a
Yes.
really decent price.
I've seen that one as well. Yeah.
Uh,
That's. But yeah, I already have too many spools of that I didn't use. I prefer having just a few samples and then I can see if I like it and then order it. I was having it like this, or I was having it like a lot of full spools that I print one or three things. That's
I almost had a heart attack the other day. I went upstairs to do something and I saw a spool. I'm like, what? And then I realized it was like Ethernet cable.
I
I'm like, oh, of course.
Well, I would have been very surprised if you all of a sudden got a filament printer or your gizmo would have changed into one.
Because I'm so used to seeing spools now that it just never really twigs in my
They're
brain.
everywhere.
And yeah, for some reason I looked at it the other day and I'm
it's
like, why have I got a spool? And then I'm like, oh yeah,
I, I
that's right. My network
I was actually
defective.
searching this afternoon something in my messy room, and then I found one spool. I was wondering what the heck, but it was Christmas lights. That's
Yeah, happens. Well, it's a
See,
perfect
if I was one of
organizer
you
for
yeah.
guys,
Christmas lights.
that wouldn't surprise me at all
They,
because you use
they
them
are
all the
really
time.
handy actually to store the Christmas lights. That's
Yes, they're
Yeah,
perfect for that.
I got sent some like a strip of
uh,
UV lights to kind of put around the inside of a bucket to use as a curing chamber, and they came on a spool. So only like a little thin one about that thick, but they're on a spool somewhere down there.
so.
I got sent that like probably 2 years ago now, and I still haven't put it
Oh,
together because I don't have a bucket.
I still have a lot of stuff that is not put together and just in boxes here.
Yeah, here as well. There are some things that just stay in boxes. But I think the one with the most boxes in storage is JT. He has things in boxes he never opened for years, I think.
I know. I was saying to him like a couple of weeks ago or something. He was talking about something that he'd ordered, and it was arriving that day. And I'm like, dude, like last week you posted a picture and your like multicolor filament splicing machine was still in the box on the floor, and you ordered that like what 4 months ago?
Yes.
And he's like, oh, that's not the only thing. And I'm like, dude, send it to me. Like, I don't have a printer, but I'll use it. Like anything like that you don't want. Like you got one of those printers that you just ordered and kind of like, yeah, send it to me.
I don't know. I think he got a box still unopened from almost 2 years ago or something like that. He
Yeah,
posted.
that's what he was saying the other day. And then like the other day, he was actually like a couple of days ago, he posted something about the Google like same sort of thing as an Amazon Alexa that you talk to and does searches and stuff. He got sent one for free ages ago, and he's had no use for it because he uses Apple stuff. And hello, so he's going to send it to me with the other stuff like my signed Ivan drawing, which I'm still waiting on. Did you ever get yours yet? Mia, did you get your? You remember that drawing that Ivan did with the robot with all the textures?
Yes.
You did get your drawing from him?
Yes, I did get my drawing from him.
I'm still
And
waiting.
I did it with the. Really?
Yes.
You're still waiting for yours?
Yeah. And
I thought JT got it.
Well, he does.
And he still didn't send it to you?
No. He keeps meaning to, and then he'll just like get sidetracked and forget about it. And then like a month later, I'll be like, still got that?
No, I got mine, and it came with all this gold inside, which I opened.
Oh, that's right.
And I was laughing so hard that all this gold stuff
You
got
inhaled
into
it.
my nose.
I remember that now.
Uh,
See, that's how long ago it was. I'd forgotten about that. JT, if you're watching, still waiting. Oh, dear.
yeah,
Pokemon uses
I
empty
will
spools as
send it
one of
to
the
you
stands. Yeah,
in 1 or 2 years.
I would too, but my monitor's probably a bit big. But then I don't really know what a spool size is, so. How many centimeters across is a spool, like from the very outer edge?
Wait a second. I have a couple
Just
of
a couple?
Just a couple, yes.
That's
Just a couple of hundred. Yes.
So I'm back.
Nice little
So
stash going there.
they are. I'm using those actually for as a platform for my board to make the unboxing videos. So basically, I put those empty spools on both sides, a board on top, the phone on top, so it can film. So those are really, really good for everything.
I'd been wondering how you'd done that, like how you'd mounted the camera, because you do like top-down shots. So it's like
Exactly, yes.
90 degrees from the table surface. And I kind of wondered,
Exactly.
because I've seen both your hands go in there. I'm like, I wonder what she's got mounted on, because I don't
It's
have anything.
basically just I'm sitting in between of 2 piles of empty spools and a board on top of me. Okay, so the spool is about 20 centimeters diameter,
Luca,
and the
7 millimeters.
height is different from spool to spool. Depends on
Oh, yeah, I was
yeah.
talking diameter of the circle. So
It is 20
20 centimeters.
centimeters, and
Yeah.
this is I think for all the same, because all the ones I have piled up in the back are all the same diameter. So I think that's pretty standard. Not sure if it's for everyone, but at least it's for those I have.
I think it is pretty standard across the board, and most of them just tend to vary in the either center diameter ring or the width from side to side between the rings.
The Wilco is with 197 millimeters. Very exact on that.
Very
Perfect.
That's a you can tell he's obviously got some degree of engineering background or 3D modeling of some sort.
Yeah, well, I just got
I'm always the same.
those here, so they are not that exact.
I have to admit, when I when I do my measurements for my projection area on my resin, I use a tape measure because it's too hard using a ruler because it won't sit properly where the measurements line up well enough. So, unfortunate, easy thing to do is shove the tape measure against the other end of it and just. But
Yeah.
then you have to risk accidentally dunking it in the resin. But yeah.
Happens.
Oh, sorry, he's refined it. 197.5.
Okay, now we can go even deeper. Is this now the exact last number, or do we have some more numbers behind the
Perhaps?
point?
But we
Put
need a
my
bigger
caliper.
caliper for it.
I do have a caliper, but that just about 150
Well, just get a smaller
millimeters.
spool.
So
Then
Yeah, they look the same as mine.
oh, I actually do have one smaller spool. Now you say it. It is a PETG. Um, it is, I think, a 250-gram spool, when I remember correctly, but I'm not entirely sure about that. And it's super, super tiny and cute, and that really has a smaller diameter. But that's
I
the
think
only one.
the company it was from the United States. I can't remember the name now. That has also really small spools.
Yeah, but those are not common.
Yeah,
The
they are.
most common
They are
ones
not.
are those 197.545454. Perfect.
I'll just say it rather than typing it.
Ah, nice.
I'm trying to talk to you guys and read everything, and I'm like, I totally understanding you, but then I go to talk and I'm like
Uh,
trying to talk to you, but then I'm like, no, you're supposed to be talking to them.
Happens.
My brain is. Oh. And I'm not saying anybody's done anything wrong. I'm saying my brain itself is trying to do three things at once.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. I'm uh, I'm a thinker of like 50,000 different things all at once because, especially when I'm absolutely alone, like as in nobody there to talk to or on camera feed or anything, I can do 500 different things at once and not even think twice about it. But then when it comes to streaming, I really do try to just block out as much as possible and concentrate on the stream because otherwise I just get sidetracked.
I know that feeling. It's I'm now trying to figure out how it's called what I was that company in. I can't find it.
Yeah, I don't know what his company's called, unfortunately. Just know about his nick.
Oh yeah, Tolman
Scholar.
3D.
Scholar
Those are
IT.
Tolman 3D. They have really small spools.
But wide, says Falco.
Pardon me.
So basically, they are small in diameter, but wide, or
Yes, I think so. Yeah,
in
at least in the past.
Thumbs up.
I'm not sure if they still have them.
You'd think if anything you'd have wide but not tall, because you think about if you've got the same size core, but then a shallower outside, you're not going to fit anywhere as near
Yeah.
as much filament within that radius as you would with the other one. So
Yeah, but
you think,
maybe that's exactly the point, because if you want to ship smaller sizes, you
That's
don't always have 1 kilogram spools. There are also 500-gram spools or
yeah.
250-gram spools, but you need a special diameter for the smallest radius, so the filament doesn't break.
well, you don't know, but that's
And
what I mean. Like, you'd think that they'd have a set size for the core, and
yes,
then just make the edges bigger or smaller based on that. Um, but from the sounds of the way he worded it, it kind of sounded like the core itself got bigger or smaller.
Yeah, I just posted the link
I
to the spool on Twitter or on the YouTube chat.
Yep.
I'll have a look at
The
that.
Amazon link.
Yeah, they're
That's
small but wide, yes. Um, but it does make sense to do it like that for
Yeah, I think
smaller
they are
amounts.
500 grams or
Um,
something like that. Yeah,
I think so as well, because you need the length of the or the height of the spool to get it
yeah,
winded in a proper way. So
mm.
for smaller amounts, it
yeah.
totally makes sense.
Yeah, I would guess in that kind of sense. I really thought about that.
But yeah, they make very specific filaments. I have one roll or something of like that, or two rolls, something around here. That's their PET G is. I think it's PET G I have, and it's really nice.
There are so many
Yeah,
nice filaments out there, but also a few really crappy ones. I mean, I got lots of samples because I like to try stuff, and I'm usually printing small things or flat things, so I don't need so those big amounts. Just the standard
yeah.
colors I always need. So I love to try different filaments, and uh, I must say the strangest that I've worked with so far are the
Uh,
Amazon
I didn't try the
PLAs.
Amazon ones.
Each
That's,
you didn't miss much. There are some really there are some that are great, and there are some that are absolutely poor,
but
difficult to print, or
but
barely printable. There is
Bizarre.
it depends from color to color, strangely, and I think Amazon doesn't produce them
uh,
themselves. I think they will have different people who will produce the different colors. That's why the quality changes are
uh,
so immense. Basically, I got the gold one from Amazon, which was wonderful, and there was purple, not purple, I think the blue one, blue or purple, one of those two, which has such a rough surface, which doesn't really
that's
go through the PTV tube. So if you got a Bowden setup, it will
yeah.
be not printable at all.
I I thought
Bizarre.
they are using eSun, but I guess not then. That's
I'm not sure which one they. I think they got
the eSun
different.
in general is pretty good filaments. That's I've
Yes, they are, but I
Knowing
must
being
say I have
Amazon,
one from eSun, which is absolutely bad. It's not a filament for printing, it's one for
yeah.
cleaning the nozzle.
th-
And the
oh,
diameter is
That's
so inconsistent that it doesn't go through the nozzle because there is
yes.
no grip on it, or it gets stuck, so it is not usable for
That's
cleaning
not.
the nozzle at all. But this
That's
is the only one, really the only one.
okay.
All the
bizarre.
others are
I never
great.
tried that one. I just don't clean my nozzles. I guess.
I don't anymore now because I
So
don't
many
want to buy another one.
That's,
those
Uh,
Amazon filaments being inconsistent. I have to wonder if they're as inconsistent as their
oh,
prices too.
from
Because I remember
um,
last week JT posted a link to a
that's
filament that he found on Amazon. It was like $140 a roll. I was like, what?
that's
That's like more expensive than
that's
my resin.
but
And my resin is by far not the cheapest one on the market. And thank God I haven't had to buy any yet. I'm still on the resin that came with my printer.
yeah,
but you got like I don't know,
that's
10 liters or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was either 10 or 13. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I ended up getting a
that's
little bit more because when they when the guy who makes the printer delivered my last bottle, I think I was owed like 3 or 7 or something, and he brought me a 5 litre bottle instead, and I was like, oh sweet. So yeah, but never never used any resin apart from that yet. One day maybe.
but
I
but
think there'll be
only
a
if
lot
it's
of
red.
disappointed people if I
but
change colour though.
uh, even sort of the proto pasta stuff or filament is sometimes also really expensive. As you look, if you pay, I think
Hmm.
Yes, it is.
like for 500 grams or something, and you pay a lot already. So if you exchange that to a kilogram, then yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some of
Especially
the.
if you're in Europe,
Oh
because the shipping is
uh,
more expensive
yeah,
than
and not
the
Yeah,
entire
even the
ridiculous.
spool.
shipping. Then if you even without the shipping, it's already expensive. I think.
Yeah, I saw like
Yes,
on
it
their site
is,
they had.
but I
I
have to
think on
admit,
Oh
material.
it's
yeah,
worth it. It really
yes.
is great
Here, if
filament.
you a hi-fi blue HTPLA is for 500 grams, 30 US dollar. So it's basically $60 for a kilo plus shipping. Yes.
Plus shipping.
Oh,
So if you
sorry, I
have
thought you said
sixty
two eight.
dollars for a kilogram, and you have to pay, let's say, 70 for shipping, because I know it's a little bit more
Yes.
expensive than the spool itself. So you are for 1 kilogram filament at $130.
I've seen some 500-gram filaments before. They were granted they were special materials, but for a 500-gram spool to be over $100, who are you kidding? And we're
Yes.
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
US dollars too. I'm like, no way. Like, I've seen expensive resins before, but not that expensive. Like, surely they can't be
So the,
worth it.
the shipping from Proto Pasta isn't that bad actually. It's $24. So in total, for 500 grams, you
No,
will pay $54 for 500 grams.
Yeah, well, when I looked the last time, it was some time ago. Maybe
Yeah,
that changed by then. But when I looked the last time, for forgot which one I wanted to order. It doesn't matter. The shipping actually was about 5 or 10 euros or
I-
dollars higher than the
if you
spool
change it to
itself.
2 spools, so 1 kilo, the shipping goes up to $52. So then you,
Yes, the shipping
yes,
doubles,
yes.
or more.
So if you have 2 spools, you will be
that's
paying $112. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it is really,
I,
really crazy. I would love to
I
print with proto
yeah,
pasta. It is perfect. The
I
filament is great, but
yeah,
I
I
just
got
can't
one
afford
roll
it.
last year in
It's
Sweden of the hi-fi blue, and it's a really nice filament, and I love it. Yes,
it is
that's,
it is
it's
yes,
really
like
great.
butter. Every time I've seen like
yeah.
Joe or anybody,
It
Joel
just
or
It prints
anybody print with
perfect.
it, it looks like it
Yes,
just goes down so smooth. But
is
yeah, problem with being in Australia
and
is
yeah,
we don't have filament
Yeah.
manufacturers here really. Like we do have a couple of minor ones, but like thankfully we do actually have some resin ones, but I haven't used them yet. But basically everything comes from either US, Europe, or if you want to cheap out, China. And even that can end up in large shipping costs, but 90% of the time you'll get reasonable shipping from China, okay products, great products from everywhere else, and the shipping will be twice as much as what you buy.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
nuts. And yeah, this I haven't found the right kind of middle ground yet, apart from when I get the chance to, when I'm like sort of back on my feet and got money and everything, I want to try Monocure 3D's resins because they're down in Melbourne or something, and I have heard good things about them. Um, I've only heard of one person trying to print with their resins in my printer, but I know that they do work, but results varied for this person, but then they weren't exactly as clued into it as I might be. So I might be able to get better results out of it. But you can get like a 5 litre bottle from them for like $279. If I was to buy a 5 litre bottle of the fun to do stuff that I've got now, I'd probably be looking at close to 600, $700.
That's really,
Because,
really a lot.
yeah, the resin itself is expensive. Like after the exchange rate, it can come out anywhere between like 80 and $120 per liter, and then because they're in Pokon land, got to ship all the way from there too. So
Yeah,
it's a long way.
that's true. Not so far from me, and even less far from Paul.
Yeah. We also
Paul, you could
yeah.
possibly just drop by.
We have a few really nice filament makers here in Europe. It's
Yeah, I think there was a couple that I didn't even know had
that's
European bases until like a couple of weeks ago or something. I like knew that they were kind of
that's
Asian based or US based, but then yeah, something I was watching a couple of weeks ago tweaked me onto the fact that they've actually got like a kind of constant
that's
warehouse supplier in Europe now. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody can be so happy about that because every time they're always complaining about, how much the shipping is on stuff like that. So once they get a good stock level in, Europe and Australia of everything, we'll see prices come down, which would be good.
Yeah.
So we do have a local mob here called Bilby 3D, and they're probably the biggest, maybe the only, I'm not 100% sure, but by far the biggest 3D printing supplier in Australia. Um, and they don't carry a massive range, but they try to carry different things from all over the place. Um, and from what I've seen, they do manage to strike some pretty reasonable deals on um, consumables. The printers themselves, much of a muchness, but the consumables, at least, they do seem to be fairly reasonable. Um, and when you consider, what our taxes and all that, the shipping that they would be paying before it gets here and all that kind of stuff, it can sometimes work out a little bit cheaper than if you were to go to them direct and get it yourself, which is nice. But the more we see of that in the future, the more competition there'll be, and hopefully that'll start driving things down further. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, it will get more and more because the printers and everything gets even more affordable for people. So I think the interest will rise as well. And okay, 3D printing is not for everyone right now, but I think as soon as those industrial standards, like just push the button and it starts, like some machines have, as soon as those will come into a price range which is affordable for a normal household, I'd say, this would be the point where the market will explode because then everybody will need filament, resin, and
Yeah.
everything else.
As soon as they nail down the precision and the need to not tweak things, like
Exactly,
when
it's
it's a
the
push
user
button machine,
friendliness.
it'll
Exactly.
explode.
That's what I mean. As soon as that's not just for tinkerers like us, but for um, everybody else. So just let's say go on Thingiverse. I will see that model. I want that model. Push a button. It will send directly to the machine. It will slice directly in the machine. The print will be printed. It's done. It's ready. I just open it up and I get my finished print out of there. And as soon as that is possible, the market will explode.
Absolutely. Would be nice if it was sooner or even just gained popularity to some degree sooner because I love printing with my fun to do resin, but it's like $80 a liter or something. So I am so glad that I got so much when I bought my printer that I haven't had to buy any yet because had I run out, I would have had to basically not done
Yeah,
any printing whatsoever
Yeah.
that's
because that's
expensive.
$80
Yeah,
US per liter
yeah.
before shipping.
Yeah. And I am complaining about the resin I got. But that's the price range is not near as that high.
Mm.
But I also wanted to try one of those less odor resins.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
Uh,
that's one good thing about fun to do is there is minimal smell. Like unless you're right over it, you can't smell it. Like I've got an open vat of it sitting 5 meters from me, if that, maybe less. I can't smell anything.
if I put the resin into the vat and it immediately smells like
Mm.
crazy. Uh, really, I close the doors, I open the window, I was sitting here with my mask on, but it spreads everywhere. Basically, even if the doors are closed, you can smell it downstairs.
Oh my
It
God.
is insane.
Oh, that sounds horrid.
It is. So if you just get a little print, let's say about an hour or something like that, I immediately put the resin back into the bottle, close it up because I can't let it in the vat because the smell is unbearable.
Bloody hell, I'm
At
glad
least for me.
we didn't get pushed to start with resin like that because if I just had to have an open vat of something that's stinky sitting in my living room all
I,
day, every day, I'd
I,
probably be dead.
I still think the Anycubic resin isn't that bad, but that's maybe just me. I think it's okay. You do smell it a bit, but
I,
it's yeah, not that really bad.
the
Maybe
impression I
you're
get
not
from
that
some people,
Maybe
sensitive as
yeah,
I am.
that's it's maybe yeah.
yeah, the
I
impression I get
agree
from
with
some people
him.
is that it smells a bit like, um, or some resins smell a bit like nail polish remover. Others smell really badly chemical plasticky. Um, like, do you kind of have anything that you can relate yours to, Mia?
I would say it's definitely some kind of resolvent, not like a nail polish remover, but more like in
Yes,
paint or
something
something
like
like
that.
that, in
Yeah.
a real cheap paint.
Ah, okay. Yeah, see, mine doesn't have any of those undertones. Like, if you put your nose over the fun to do resin, you get a very mild, um, like, I guess the closest thing I could say is plastic smell. Um, it's not
So just
like
like heated up plastic or
no, not heated up plastic at all. It's not an offensive, like, when you burn plastic, you get that disgusting, oh my God, blah.
yeah.
It's not like that. It's more like a cupboard full of Tupperware kind of plastic smell. So
So
you
yeah,
can tell that there's something plasticky about it, but it's not in any way offensive to your nose. Whereas the impression I get of a lot of these other resins is they just make you go, oh my God, oh, that's horrid.
but it's from person to person different. Like Paul says, he doesn't
It's
think it's that bad at all, and I think
yeah,
I just can't
yeah.
sit in front of my printer
It's
without the mask on, and without I even need
oh
the
wow.
eye goggles on because my eyes start to
Yeah.
water and I can't see. So yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
a very sensitive
That's
person. So things like resolvents, stuff like that
okay.
affect my body pretty hard. So I'm maybe
That's
not the perfect
yeah. Last
reference
last
for
week
that.
I was printing and I
Uh,
was even printing open with the lid open because I was trying something out, and I
Whoa!
had no problems at all. It's yeah.
Wow!
what would you relate the smell to, Paul? Like
No,
anything that
not
you can think
really. I,
of?
I think it's some chemical based, but not really sure what. But yeah,
Like an alcoholic
no,
kind of
not
undertone,
not
that
really.
that
More
kind of feeling.
plasticky kind of. But yeah, not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I I guess it also
All right.
depends
Uh,
really on the resin, and some resins are really wise. But
yes.
Hmm. I mean, I've never been one to be really offended by, the smell of an open tin of paint or,
yeah,
nail polish removal or anything like that. But I do understand why people might
oh yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of smell something like
Yeah,
that and they get the
I
vapors down the back of their nose and
yeah,
they're like,
I have the same. Yeah,
whoa. But
that's
yeah, mine is totally not like anything I've smelled before.
that's
And it's so faint and unoffensive that I I would love to try these other ones just
but
to find out
What's the
and be able to relate
difference?
with people when they say that that stinks because, I've been printing
but
for 2+ years now and I've only ever had the one
but yeah,
material to
for
work with.
example, something
I've
like
had,
paint or something, I have no problem at all with as well. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm probably not that sensitive for it, and that helps, I guess. So yeah,
mm,
I am. I am very sensitive words about that. So even paint or resolvents in any
yeah,
kind affect my body pretty hard. So I really have to wear that mask. Any other way,
yeah.
I would probably faint, and
That's,
that's not what
and
should
to
happen.
mm,
So I'm better safe than sorry. And the smell is just something that
yeah,
comes on top of that. So it really it hurts. It burns in my eyes.
yeah.
It burns in my throat when I
yeah,
smell.
yeah.
So it's I'm sure
And
it's
to be
not good
honest,
for
it's
my
probably
body.
better to wear a
No,
mask because it is some nasty stuff. That
yeah,
Yes,
well,
yeah,
clearly, if it's burning your throat and nose, like your body must have some
I'm
sort of
allergic to
it's
resolvents
allergic
of any
reaction
kind.
to
So
that or something.
if I uh, I have to buy paint without any resolvents because long years ago I found out that I have that issue when I was painting the wall and all of a sudden fainted,
it's
fall down.
Huh.
So yeah, until we found out it's resolvent in there, and So I
Oh
have to
yeah.
stay away from that. And everything is fine. So I'm used to be careful when it comes to things like that.
As you no doubt would over time. Sure, there's things in my life that I've kind of just become accustomed to as well, because you don't really think about it after the third or fourth time it happens, and you just go, oh, yep, locked. No,
Uh,
that's a interesting perspective.
so that's another reason why I would love to try one of those milder or mildish resins, which are more of a natural base and which are pretty odorless. So hopefully they won't affect me that much.
Mm. Yeah, I've often wondered whether the fun to do ones would give you the same reaction. And now I saw Uncle Jesse talking about them last week or something. There's newer like bioresins and stuff uh,
Yeah, like
based on
Eastern
plant
gut
matter, things like
and
this. And obviously they still have the chemical element to them, but I'm curious to see how your nose feels about those sort of things as well.
mm,
So be a good experiment at some point one day in the future.
Hey, have a nice evening, Palco. Bye bye.
Have a nice evening, love. You too, Pokemon.
bye.
Take care of yourself.
And your girlfriend.
Yes, because that's uh, bridge night. Sorry, I'm reading back in the chat a bit. I don't know if I'm out of order here. I think I might have missed something.
Not much.
So, which resins did you try so
Still
far,
only
Paul?
the one included with the printer, so the transparent green one. That's I didn't. I need to look around, and yeah, that's. I I, I also need to find some money for it. That's another thing.
Oh,
That's
Yeah, I can relate to that. The green one was actually a little bit better what
yeah.
about the smell and everything. The
Okay.
black one I got now is the
I love the
horror.
I
That
love the
stuff
green color.
is
It's the transparency is so nice,
the
and
color is
yes,
awesome.
yeah,
Yes, it is so beautiful. I love that green as well.
yeah,
Not so much the smell, but the color is
yeah,
really, really, really beautiful. I
that's,
can't talk anymore. Really
yeah.
beautiful. So that's and the black one is extremely hard to print and even more
Okay,
smelly
well,
than the green one.
I, I,
So
I I think I
whoa.
will stay with the transparent colors. I love how the transparency looks, and that's
Yes,
just so really nice.
I
And
it
I
doesn't
would
surprise me that
recommend that.
black is hard to print with, though, because black
yeah,
reflects all wavelengths of light. That's like,
that's
or
Yes.
rather,
that's
absorbs all of the
fully understandable.
wavelengths of light. Um,
Yeah,
and the same with white at the opposite end of the spectrum, that actually reflects all of the wavelengths. So
Mm.
to be able to cure that, you've got to put it on there much longer than you would for any other color, um, that except for maybe an actual UV kind of color yourself, because if you're trying to cure with UV, then obviously it's going to be hard to cure something that's already UV colored. Um, but
Are
yeah,
there UV active resins like UV colored
there
ones?
is a purple resin that I saw, and my God, it is gorgeous. Like the most smashing, awesome purple that I would
Wow.
just give my left leg to be able to print in all day, every day for the rest of my life. But of course, I can't afford to even get like a sample sent over.
Well, one
But
day you will.
yeah, I do have the supplier like linked to my Facebook account or something now. So, one day when I get that chance, I'm gonna get a test sample, see if it works. And if it does, I'm going to order myself a 55-gallon drum of it. So hot.
Awesome. I didn't know that. I always saw those nice transparent colors and the opaque ones, which are also a little bit transparent, but I think they have to be to get cured. But a really UV light reflecting one, not yet.
Well, yeah.
Or
Like when I
UV
say UV
reactive
light
or something.
reflective, I mean
It's
like in the
responding to.
blue-purple spectrum. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed, I didn't even think about it until I saw a picture that this person posted on the Facebook page that there are no purple resins. There are
Really?
purple filaments, there are plenty of blue filaments, but it's not very often you see blue or
Which is
purple
logical because
resins.
of the color of the light. That's
Exactly.
Yes.
yes.
I'd never thought about that in my head before. It just, when I saw this picture, I thought, oh, it's the first purple
Yeah.
resin I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, duh. Like, that's why.
That's
But yeah, this stuff, if you can print with it,
that's
I'm going to be so happy because it is the most gorgeous purple. And like, uh, I love purple.
Well, if you would have a blue resin and would mix it with the red one, so to make
yeah.
Yourself a
The
purple, how would that affect
it
the
won't probably
printing
work because
process?
of the light from the UV light is sort of purple, so it probably won't be able to cure it.
it, it does
Or
work.
with
It'll just
long,
take
It
very long
it
longer.
might
curing
take
times.
really long.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, the
it's
black
probably
one
much.
really takes extremely long. You need 120
Yeah,
seconds bottom exposure to make it
yeah.
stick on
It
the
might be
build
the same
plate.
or maybe even
Yeah,
longer. Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah. Like with my particular printer, I probably wouldn't have as bad a time as you might because you have um, a different kind of screen in yours. Mine
Yeah,
comes
you got a
from,
projector.
yeah, mine comes from a projector and it doesn't display actual traditional UV light. So you can get a UV bulb for mine or a different printer that has a UV bulb in it, a projector that has a UV bulb in it, which will
yeah,
cure standard resins like easily twice as fast as what I do now, maybe more, maybe four
Okay.
times as fast. But that actually, you can see it projects a purple tinged light on the resin, whereas mine, when you look at it, it's more of a yellow orange kind of color.
Yeah,
But
I've
with
seen
the
that on the pictures you posted.
yeah, so it uses the UV within that kind of spectrum to do the curing, um, but it doesn't 100% cure it. So that's why you need post curing. Um, you also don't
yeah.
100% cure, but
Yeah,
the
that's
light
why
in
you
those
have the UV
printers,
chambers
You will
for
always have that.
afterwards.
That's
yeah, you could probably, yours probably does maybe 90,
I, I
ninety five
I would
percent
say around ninety
cure.
percent. Yeah, it is. It
Mm. Whereas mine probably does 70, 75%.
So it's pretty soft
it's
after printing.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite often you'll get a print off and like depending on the structure of the model as well, like if you get something that's completely hollow, quite often I
uh,
can just sort of
for
bend it a bit
Squeeze it.
and like I can just take supports and scrape
yeah,
them off with my
support you can
thumbnail.
also just
Uh,
Oh,
take off and it just works. It's and just go over with a bit
mm,
of yeah with your hands and then
I don't need any
no,
scissors or anything to cut
just
the
push them a
supports
bit
off.
and then they just go off.
It's,
But it's not.
yeah,
It
that's great.
doesn't make them nicest finished on the part. So I don't do it in general. I cure it first and then.
Well, it kind of depends.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
oh
depends
yeah,
on the
true.
model, I would say.
Because yeah, like I've had some models where like I wouldn't have been able to cure it if I'd taken all of the supports off because there was just no reasonable
Oh,
way that it would
yeah,
sit in a
that's yeah.
position that would allow it to cure. Um, but then there's other models like where you've got a tiny little base that you can sit it on. It if you can have the least amount of surface exposed while curing the rest, get rid of all the
Yeah,
supports, and it'll look magnificent.
that's
But yeah, there are times where you have to have them, and if you didn't have them, your curing would either fail because it'd kind of roll off
yeah.
or squish or something.
Yeah.
It's very
And I
model
also
dependent.
learned that you need to be careful and not touch it too much before curing, because there will a white
Yeah.
Mm.
glow will be over the part, even if you just touch it
Mm,
very lightly and just wash it and then cure it first, and that's the best.
Yep,
that's what
absolutely.
I do as well. I have two pots of alcohol, one for the pre-wash, so you can
Yeah,
scrub off the sticky part, and then one with cleaner, so you can wash
yeah.
completely with a small brush or something like that to go into the holes and everything and shake it, and this works
I have a
really
third one, and
well.
that is just with water,
Mm.
and I do it in there before I cure
Yeah.
it. That's
I'll wash it off after with a
okay. No, I
mild
just
dish
before
soap.
after I have it in the alcohol, I wash it in the just in normal water before I cure it, so there is no alcohol on the part before I
I
put it in the nail thing.
I
Yeah.
use a little bit of dish
Ah,
soap in the water, so you
Yeah,
get wash
I don't want to do
everything
it.
off. But I think
uh,
clear water would do as well.
I
that's
do the dish soap, and like when I've got plenty of alcohol, I'll do alcohol, then dish soap because it gets rid of any
yeah,
remaining greasiness about it, and then I'll do plain water rinse. Always do plain water rinse because otherwise you can end up with like a rainbow film that
yes,
sits over your prints when they're cured, and it looks really bizarre. Like not freaky rainbow. I'm talking like something looks like it's kind of
Like an
waffled
oily,
the surface of it or something, and like you'll get like little flecks of white bits coming up here and there, and stuff
okay,
like that.
strange.
Yeah, it's not what I would have expected either. Um, but yeah, as long as you make sure you've cleaned it off properly. But I do agree, the soap, like warm soapy dishwater,
that's,
absolutely magnificent for getting that slimy
yeah.
feel
Yes,
off it.
I
Oh,
I only don't like it to
perfect.
do it in the sink because you don't really want to do um, the resin in the sink. To be honest,
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. I've got like
yeah,
a big laundry tub, and I've got like one of um,
uh,
those hose
yeah,
hand pump hoses that you put into a jar and then it kind of pulls the water out, sort of thing. So I use that, which is absolutely magnificent. But yeah, I was quite surprised. Like I just thought I'd try dishwater one day because um, my sister had moved my IPA bottle, my isopropyl alcohol bottle, and I didn't know where it was. And I tried calling her up, and she wasn't answering her phone. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I just filled up this plastic tub with like warm water from the tap and a bit like dishwashing liquid, and I was like,
that's,
geez, I'm tempted to say I don't even need the
yeah.
alcohol. Like, it was that clean. I could not
That's
believe it.
Yeah, well, you need the alcohol still to get the resin part off. It's just for the. I don't even think it is the slimy part is from the resin because if you wash it in alcohol twice, and I always have one of those
Uh,
spray bottles with alcohol. So basically, I get the
oh,
model and spray it just with the alcohol over the box so the
yes.
alcohol can drip in. So there's nothing. I don't think there's still resin on the model after that, but you still got this
Yeah, but
slimy
that's
something, and I believe
no. I
that's
think the
from the
slimy
alcohol,
thing is from the
not
resin.
from the
That's not
resin.
cured fully. I think it's not fully cured resin.
Mm.
But it is with a fully cured
I
model.
don't think it's fully cured, but not sure then. That's, I
Yeah, I can't.
Well, I
yeah.
Definitely
did
can't
put it
speak.
in the UV
I
light.
don't know. It's I also had the problem and yeah.
It might be
I
something
don't know
Yeah.
either.
resin.
You could be right. Of
That's
course. I really
did you
don't
see
know, but um,
the Velbold Maker
I
coin I had at Nerdspace? And one of them had
yeah.
a bit at the back, a bit that wasn't. Yeah, it was a bit bubbly, and I think that was because I didn't
Mm,
cure it, then touched it, and then cured it again, and because it was still touchy, and
mm,
that's why I did. So
could
I
be.
think if it's a bit slimy, that it's not fully cured, but yeah,
Could be. I'm really
the,
not an expert
yeah,
in that. I just
it's
can tell you what I did with the model. Basically,
yeah.
I tried to get everything off, but still got this strange. Not much. It's
It's
just
yeah,
it feels a little
yeah.
bit
I
off.
know what you mean. It's weird. Yeah,
Mm. Same here.
But
Like
with the
I,
dish
I'd
soap, it's
always,
gone.
I'd always thought that too because I used to go alcohol, water,
yeah,
alcohol,
yeah,
and water again, and then
yeah.
sit it out in the sun. And like when I'd take it out to go in the sun, no matter how thorough I
Uh,
was with the cleaning, it
uh,
always felt like there was just like a layer of
yeah,
hand grease on there or something. It wasn't
Yes.
slimy, but just felt like
It
hand
felt
kind of
yes, it's
hot,
just a
sticky
little
day
bit
kind of.
sticky. It doesn't stay on your fingers or something like that. It's just the model.
yeah,
It's just like
Yeah, I don't know.
how could I describe it? If you rip off a sticker or something like that, and a little bit of the glue is still left, and you tip on that, you don't get it on your finger, but it feels
yeah.
sticky.
Hmm.
You
No,
know
mine
what I
mine
mean?
wasn't that's what I'd call tacky. Like for me, and like I can only speak for my one resin that I've used. Wow. I've only ever used one resin, one color, same everything. Um, but yeah, it's not tacky. It actually feels slightly oily.
I,
As
yeah,
though
I think
you've
oily
been
is a good word for it. Yeah, that's
mm,
Yeah.
it's not like
that,
it doesn't cover your hands or anything, but yeah, your fingers just
yes.
slide over the surface. But when I wash it with dishwashing liquid,
I
none of that.
I
It's
Yeah.
I
magic. And maybe that's just
I'm
something
going to
with fun
try
to
it
do
tomorrow.
resin.
I
Um,
just want to know it now.
I'd be curious to see what the differences are with the different
Yeah,
brands resins and so forth. This is the kind of experiment that I love doing. Like, if manufacturers would just send me 10 different types of resins, I'd be like,
that's
Well, you should write to
oh,
them.
fun time.
that's
Just write to them and ask if you could try some. You could make a YouTube video or something like that. Maybe they will
that's
send you some
Yeah, like
just for review or something like that.
I have been tempted to, but at the same time, I don't think I'm in quite that influential of
uh,
a
just
position to be able to
just
do that
try.
yet.
I
Just
yeah.
try.
I
Just
Yeah,
try. You don't have to decide if you are the right
yeah.
type for that. That's for them to decide. You just ask. And you don't know. Maybe they say, of course, just do it. You
yeah,
can't
I
that's
decide
true.
for yourself if the company would do it or not. So if you don't ask, how will you know?
I have
Mm,
also I've sent Polymaker, for
yes.
example, emails for asking just from can I test this, and they just send a row of me, and I just get it. And I am really small YouTube channel, so Yeah, there are companies sending it. Of
Ah,
course, not all of them. Probably not most of them. Not even. But sometimes it's just happening, and then
mm.
from there you can just start. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess my trepidation has mostly come because there aren't anywhere near the amount of
Yeah.
resin manufacturers as there are filaments. Like, filaments, every country's got their own. There's 100 in each country kind of thing. With resins,
It's
there's like 10. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
but you don't
if
know
there's
if you
yeah.
don't
if there's
try.
people, I'll
That's
put a proposal
that's
together and see what they say because I think it'd be
Okay.
good to have one
yeah.
person do a side by side comparison. And even if they can't relate the exact thing that every person might feel, having it all come from a single person perspective, I think would help people immensely because, like I've been working with resin for 2 and a bit years now. I have a lot of experience compared to a lot of you guys that I talk to on Twitter, but I cannot relate to anything half of you guys say about
Yeah.
resin because
Yeah.
you've never used the same resin I do.
Yeah, it really is. It depends on the color, it depends on the manufacturer, it depends on so many different factors. The printer you have, of course, even more than with filament. With filament, you have a certain range, so you can, if the filament isn't too crappy, you can print one filament with basically every printer in a special range. You don't have to set up much. It was more some time ago you had to do to figure that out, but
You mean like
now
the
the
consistency of the diameter and so forth?
yes, that's if you really get a resin a filament that has such diameter issues so that you really get big chunks of filament and then strings where the filament is pretty uh, narrow, so it basically doesn't get transported or get instantly clogged, so then you really can work with that, but normally they have almost every manufacturer just a small variation. So it is still printable, even if it's a little bit more. And you don't have to think about so many things like you have to do with resin. Basically, you have with PLA, you got a range between, let's say, 190 to 230 degrees Celsius you are working with. And usually the range is on the roll, and most depends on the printer you have. So basically, with the Prusa, most I print between 210 and 215, and that works for almost every filament.
Mm. And this is another level of something that I know I've heard a few people talk about, but 90% of people out there probably wouldn't think about. If you heat up your resin, you can print a shitload faster with it.
Really?
Yep. Like I have a heating pad in the bottom of my resin vat, and like if you heat up your resin to a high enough temperature, you can print at close to twice the speed.
It's because of the viscosity is different. It's more.
Um, it's a little bit viscosity, but it I think it also has something to do with the actual chemical elements that
Yeah.
are in the resin as well, because
Mhm.
it's not just like the resin that I've got that does it. Like it's across the board. Like all resins will do it. But obviously, it's not something that's really talked about because in those bottom up printers like you've got, there is nowhere to have a heating vat in there because my heating vat
Yes.
is like the same kind of heating pad that you Mark III print
Yeah.
bed. So it has to sit where your screen needs to be.
Yeah,
So
and that's
that you
impossible.
wouldn't have the same
So
capability
yeah,
to heat the resin the way I do. But
Well,
I think there are a few around now that can
you
actually somewhat heat the
you can
chamber,
heat
which can help.
the sides of the fab vat,
of the
and
veg.
then do
Yeah.
something with that.
Mm.
But it's not ideal, but it might work. Um,
Um,
Yeah, yeah, you have to be a bit careful about how
yeah,
you do it.
Be-
Um,
I think you
for
might
me, it's just a
be in a
breeze.
special range as
and
well, because if you heat it up too much or too little, that would be
yeah.
lots of different
And
results, I
another problem
guess.
is you can't heat it up too much because of the LCD screen that's below it, because it's directly below the vat,
Yes.
and that's really sensitive to heat properly. So yeah, you can't heat it
Exactly.
up really. That's
Yeah, whereas mine sits in
yeah,
the bottom of a steel
yeah,
vat, and that's it. Mine gets projected on from, you know,
From the
that
top.
far above it. Like there's that
yeah,
much resin sitting on top of the heat mat. Um, so yeah, but I've had a few people kind of talk about the possibilities of printing faster using a heated enclosure kind
yeah,
of thing, but I don't think they'd be able to get quite the
yeah.
results that I do. But that's another
Eh,
experiment I would love to run between the different resins and colors.
Yeah.
Just I've seen documentation of even different colors within manufacturers getting startlingly different results by heating the resin from room temperature to 45 degrees and
Well,
even as high as 75 degrees Celsius. Like mind blowing stuff. I never even thought that that would be a thing. Like I thought when I bought the printer, they'd included the heat pad because they were selling internationally. And like obviously, if you're trying to print in the middle of a European winter or something and
yeah,
it's snowing outside, your resin's going to be cooler and possibly even freeze. So
yeah.
I thought that's kind of why they'd done it. But then, yeah, something I read somewhere kind of made me think, oh, and then I asked the guy who made the printer, and he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, you should check this out. And oh my God.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people even crowded in all of the different areas that we've ever been to, whether it be chats or, you know, watching videos of something or, you know, getting into the same playground or, you know, whatever. So I can't think of the proper way to say it.
There's
No,
so
it
many
doesn't matter.
things. There's so many things I still don't know. Well, I just started printing with resin, so
yeah.
what do I know?
Oh, you can't know you
But
can't know everything,
Never
and
mind.
that's the great thing about our community. Everyone knows something and helps each other, and that's the great thing.
yes,
That's
it was such a great help I got when I had the problems with
yeah,
the black
and
resin, and basically my entire
yeah,
printer tilted itself. So
and you just ask something, and
uh,
someone helps, and you get an answer within hours,
yes.
and it helps and it works. It's
Yes, and my printer is running
uh,
again. I thought I had to send it back or something like that because absolutely nothing worked again. The buttons for were upside down all of a sudden, and it started to.
yeah.
The screen didn't switch off. It was always on, and which caused the printer to be really, really
Oh
hot.
yeah,
Ooh,
Yes, it
that's no
was absolutely terrible. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't level the printer. I couldn't
that's
do anything. And luckily, Philip Megaman helped me a lot. And he helped me to reset the printer, and now everything is fine. It works again. It's so great, and it doesn't get hot anymore. The
No,
buttons work. It's so great. And I even got the black resin to print somehow. But yeah, I still don't like it.
that kind of reminds me. I've got an issue to fix with my printer at the moment too. A couple of prints that I've done in the last month or two have just stopped moving the build plate like short of where the projection stops. And the last one I did was like shockingly bad. Like it stopped like a good 600 layers before the end of the model. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
huh? Like I've seen it
Okay.
stop. I've seen it stop like maybe 10 or 20 layers before the end before, but never that extreme. I'm like, mm. So he did kind of send me instructions of things to look at. Um, Apparently, it might be something to do with the um, particular stepper code and the board that I've got or something. So I've got to try tweaking that a little bit. Um, but yeah, it only started happening a few months ago, just out of the blue, for no apparent reason, which I thought was like, when I say a few months ago, it was doing it at the end of last summer, but I thought it was the heat that was doing it because the board itself was really hot.
No.
Um, and you could feel it. Like you put your hand near the chips on the printer board, and you're just like, whoa. Um, but then I've got new heat sinks on there and a bigger fan just blowing on there, more actual mounted fans blowing on there and stuff. Um, so yeah, a couple of weeks ago when I was running a test of something, he said to me, "Oh, look at this," and I had a look at it, and I just haven't had a chance to do it yet because my shoulder's been too bad. But
No.
we'll get there.
But at least you can grab something again with your hand.
Yeah, I can. I still can't probably pick up a cup of coffee with this hand yet. Um, it's having one of its better days. Like I can move it. That's better than the day that it first happened. I literally could not do anything with this arm. It was just dead. Um,
No.
but it's never been full strength since.
Hmm.
Uh, Max I've probably found is maybe 50% strength, which is rather concerning because I'm left-handed and that's my left hand. My
No.
right hand, on the other hand, perfectly fine. But yeah,
Strange.
just my left. But not long to go now. I think I'm going to see the MRI people on Thursday. I think it's this Thursday. Um, Whether I get all the stuff done or not, I don't know. But even making the step to
Yeah.
go and see them and talk to them and find out when they can do whatever they need to do is a plus. I expected to be waiting longer, so I'm quite pleased about that. When I rang up
Let's hope.
a couple of months ago, they said there was like a 5-week wait
Oh
or
wow,
something.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
this time I rang up and they're like, "Oh, um, can you come in tomorrow?" And I'm like, no. I'm like, the earliest I can do is this date. And they're like, "Oh, well, okay, if you can't come in tomorrow, we can do this date, which is this
Yeah,
Thursday coming up." So, but even that was
yeah,
really surprising because, 2 weeks ago I called up and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we've got a 5-week waiting period." And I'm like, whoa.
yeah.
oh,
So,
yeah.
bless them.
It's insane sometimes. If you have to go to a specialist in Germany, you usually have waiting times for 3 or 4 months. So if you really get a severe problem which needs to be fixed right now, you really have a big problem because nobody can
It
help you.
depends here in the Netherlands
Yeah, they
really
need to get
from
them.
what kind of problem is. Some really urgent problems can be fixed directly, but some problems, yeah, are waiting times of months as well.
Yeah, it's the same here. Like when I got my appointment with the specialist who lined me up for this MRI, even though my GP had lined me up for it, having the specialist do it means that I don't have to pay
Uh,
anywhere near as much.
yeah,
Uh, so, but to get that specialist appointment, I had to wait like a month for his next appointment. And
Oh,
even this time, like, so I went and saw him. Now I've got to go and get the MRI, but I've got to go back and see him in another month. And I had to make the appointment. And she's like, oh, the next available appointment is like 5 or 6 weeks away or something. I'm like, okay, put me in. I don't have a choice as soon as I can.
yeah.
So,
It's a shame that they can do that if you really, really need help. It shouldn't be like that.
yeah. But I was surprised when I rang these MRI people because when I spoke to them like months and months ago, when the doctor first gave me one for, I don't know if it was an MRI on my shoulder or my leg, um, but they said there was like a 5 week wait time just to get an MRI.
Wow.
And like,
but that really depends on why you need to get the MRI, I guess, because it's really urgent. It needs to be shorter, those wait times.
well, yeah, like I guess they have certain machines that they would
Yeah,
reserve for emergency situations. But for people who just get referred to from an outside doctor or something, um, unless it's a suspected brain tumor or something,
yeah,
maybe they, you know, put you on a list. But like, I know for a fact that what I rang up about this time and what I rang up about last time was exactly the same thing. But this time they're like, oh, yeah, you can come in next week. Whereas the last time they said, oh, it's nothing we can do for 5 weeks. So
Strange.
yeah, like whether that's whether I actually rang the same place or not, I can't 100% remember, but I'm sure I did because it's the hospital that's near me.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
we'll get there. At least I'm not going to be, well, pretty good chance I won't be dead before
Yeah,
it. That's a bonus.
that's.
um,
I I think it's time to go and grab some sleep soon.
Yeah,
That's.
I was going to say we should wrap it up. You guys
Uh,
looking a bit weary?
yes, I am. I haven't done anything, but I am tired.
Well,
that's okay.
get
You are
some
on
rest.
vacation. You
Oh,
are allowed to be tired
yeah,
because of doing nothing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all fine.
It's two more weeks of vacation.
Awesome.
Cool.
Take your good rest. You deserved it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I was.
Thank you for the experiment. We know it
Yes.
works, so that's awesome for next time. We know what to do.
Yeah.
Nobody flunked out this time. We're all still here. That's really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I need to figure some stuff out with the switching, but in general it worked really nicely. It's
Yes,
the only thing
Awesome.
is I have it set up for my PC now, so if someone else needs to host, it's a bit more difficult. But we can figure that out as
yes.
well. But
I
Yeah.
think we have to try. Everybody has to
Oh,
try just for one stream so that everybody knows what's going
yeah,
on.
maybe I
did
just
We
you?
will get there.
I can just write down what I did and then from there we can start up. And
That would be perfect.
and I know, for
I think-
example, Katja, their internet connection isn't got enough to do it anyways. That's
Hers
Yeah.
should be okay in Skype, I reckon.
yeah,
I
but
did read something about in the setup page that we all need to get into the Skype call before feeding it into Streamlabs,
yes,
because otherwise OBS camera interface interferes with the Skype side of things.
that depends on how you set it up. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's but maybe maybe for the first upcoming streams it might be a good idea that I just do the hosting, and then from there we can get it working everywhere.
Head around.
Yeah,
Yep.
We will get there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Yes. I'm going to enter stream on YouTube now.
Sure.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye bye
everybody.
everyone.
Happy
Bye.
New Week, everyone.